What's going on, guys? This is Dynamic Duos here, and I'm here with a very special friend.
What's up, guys? This is xScopedandshot.
And today we're going to be doing a little podcast today, and we're going to talk to you guys about a lot of different topics, all about the Major League Baseball season so far, and we'll get started right now. So the first one we have is Mike Trout or Bryce Harper, and I guess you could start off if you want.
Yeah, I was thinking with this question, who would you rather base your team off of? Like, say I don't know, you're the Mariners. You got not really that many guys, and if you had to choose between one of these guys, like draft, who you would want to kind of build around. So, basically saying who's got the most upside and who's the better player. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably. I don't know. I think Mike Trout. He's got it pretty good. I mean, he's been in the league a little bit longer than Bryce Harper too. But I don't know. He seems like he has a little bit more upside than Bryce Harper, even though they're both pretty much phenomenal. But what about you?
Um, a lot of people are probably expecting me to say Bryce Harper, but I'm going to have to go with Mike Trout, and one of the reasons is because I think he's more experienced. I mean, Harper being only 19 years old, if I were to take him now in the draft, like if we were to draft him right now, I would probably let him, work his way up. I think the Nationals could have let him develop maybe a year or two more. Not saying that they rushed him, but on the more upside, I see Trout as a five-tool player, and I don't really see. I mean, both these guys are great to have on your team. They're both going to benefit your team in a lot of ways, but I just think Trout has the bigger upside.
Yeah, Harper being called a little too early. That's probably right, but I mean he's only 19 and he is doing pretty well. He's holding his own. What does he hit? Does he hit 3 for the Nationals? He hits 3.
Average-wise or position-wise?
No, yeah, in the lineup.
I think they
I think
started
it's
out hitting him, in the middle, and then I think they moved him up to number 2, I think.
yeah, in front of Zimmerman. So, I mean that's pretty good for a little 19-year-old. So,
Yeah, I bet he feels pretty good about himself.
all right. So yeah, you want to move on? Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So yeah, the Euclid trade a few days ago, or actually, yeah, 2 days ago, just happened, and what do you think it means for the White Sox right now?
Um, I did a video on this, and in my video I said, that I thought that this would help them out. I don't exactly see this trade, putting them in the World Series. In my predictions myself, I, choose them to win this division as of right now. The Tigers are kind of struggling. The Indians are sticking around, but I just think that adding Euclid to the lineup kind of adds that veteran presence that they've kind of had, but, Konerko's kind of lacked a little bit, I guess. So I can just see adding Euclid help him out. It's all just pretty much going to depend on how much he produces right now because he's not really doing all that hot.
Yeah, I think the trade. I think it was it was a good choice actually for the White Sox because I think they ranked last in the league in third base in terms of production. So I think even though Euclid he's on the downturn of his career, he's having a pretty bad season even though he's been injured a little bit. I think it's not gonna hurt them. I mean, it's definitely gonna probably help them out a little bit, but it might kind of push them over the edge a little bit because they are in the lead right now and. That'll might help them keep in there, or at least try to fend off the Tigers. The Tigers will wake up eventually. They're gonna, you got Verlander, and then you got Fielder and Cabrera in there. So, eventually they're gonna get their stuff together, and they're gonna be up there at the top towards the end of the season. So we'll see at the end of the season if Euclid really does help them out enough to I don't know, maybe help them win a few more games.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so. We're going to talk about the division races, and we're just going to go by each division and say, who we think is going to win as of right now. And then we'll make our playoff predictions later here in the podcast. So first off, we're going to go with the AL East. Who do you think is going to win that?
I have to say as of right now, I'm going to have to go with the Rays because they're just I see them in the long run being the team who is able to, they have good pitching. They have a good lineup. If they can get Longoria back into that lineup, that adds that presence in that lineup where, if you put somebody behind him, they're normally going to pitch around Longoria, give the next guy some better pitches, and then that'll end up making that guy much better. And Longoria is going to produce when he comes back. So I just see them with their great pitching staff and a decent lineup when they get Longoria back to be able to hold off the Yankees and the Red Sox if they can get it going.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. I don't think the Orioles have. I don't think they have. I don't think they'll be able to stay there towards the end. I mean, they are having a pretty good season right now, but they're gonna probably fade off eventually because everyone else is gonna get awake. But yeah, I definitely think the Rays because the pitching staff definitely. You got James Shields, Price, Hellickson, Alex Cobb, and I'm missing one. Jeff Neiman. I know he's in there. I don't know. But yeah, if you have all those, Matt Moore is the other one. But yeah, they are pretty young as well. But when Longoria gets back, I think it'll really help them out as well. Hitting number 3, and then you got Pena hitting behind him. So definitely protect him a little bit in the lineup. So I mean, the Rays, they have some good players on them right now, and they're definitely gonna. I think they'll win at the end of the season. We're gonna go to the AL Central right now. What do you think about that?
This is a tough one. This is there are really 3 teams in mind that I think that have a shot at it. The Indians obviously are going to fade. I think I just don't think they have the team to keep up with everybody else. Obviously, the White Sox with the addition of Youkilis is going to help them out a lot. In the lineup wise, I don't know if their pitching is going to be able to keep up with everybody else in the division. So I'm going to have to go with the Tigers in this one. I just see them with the great rotation that they have. You said it already: Verlander, Scherzer, Porcello, Smiley, yeah, all those guys to go along with fielder Cabrera, Peralta, Austin Jackson in the outfield. I mean, they just have such a deep lineup, I think, in my opinion. The only question is for me is their bullpen. Valverde's a lock, but if you have a bad outing of your starter, who's going to come in to work those long innings or pitch the 5th or 6th inning to get him to Valverde to the 9th?
Yeah, I think in the Central, I think it's going to be either between the Tigers or the White Sox. I'm a Cleveland fan because I'm from Cleveland, but the Indians, they're in a good spot right now, and they somehow find a ways to win games. I mean, they got Johnny Damon, who's still doing something. I think the Indians have a chance to win it if they get a good addition at the trade deadline. I don't know what they really need. I think maybe an outfielder definitely. I mean, Johnny Damon's in there, but they have a few questions though because they can't really get another outfielder without having to sit Damon or Chu or someone. So if they get another outfielder, who's going to be in left field and who's going to be playing DH. So I think the Indians get the right acquisition at the deadline. They might have a chance, but I'm going to have to go with the White Sox though because I don't know. I kind of feel like they'll be able to get in. I think the Tigers will get in as a wild card. But I don't know. I think their pitching staff has been really good this year. I think Jake Peavy's having a pretty good year. Chris Sale has been phenomenal. He's one of my favorite players right now. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick the White Sox, even though I don't think they're better than the Tigers, but I think they'll get it done.
True.
All right, so AL West now.
This one, I in the beginning of the season, I almost wanted to pick the Angels for this one just because of the big free agent acquisitions that they had in Pujols and Wilson. But I'm going to say the Rangers in this one because I believe in their lineup. Their lineup's going to produce. If they can get Feliz back and Derek Holland back and Alexi Agondo back into the rotation, depending on if they're going to pitch Agondo as a starter now, I think they'll be able to hold off the Angels even though they've been playing pretty well now. Pujols has turned it around. Honestly, in the first couple of months of the season when he was really on a really cold streak, like he absolutely was abysmal at the plate. I really almost laughed at him every time he came up to the plate because it was just absolutely ridiculous to see the amount of pressure he was putting on himself when he came up to the plate, and that can be understood because you get signed to that big of a contract and you come into a new city, you leave a city that loved you, and I'm pretty sure all you Cardinals fans are pretty pissed about it, but at least he's getting it turned around. But I honestly see the Rangers in this. You've got Josh Hamilton, who we'll probably end up talking about later in this video when we get to the MVPs. But what do you think?
I don't know. It's definitely between those two, Rangers or Angels. I think they both got pretty similar lineups, so it comes down to pitching. And I don't know. The Angels got some pretty good guys, even if they haven't really been producing. You got Weaver and Herron and Wilson and Santana right there. It's I don't know. They got a really good lineup though, but. I think the Rangers, I think they'll get it again because they got a pretty good, pretty much matching them like punch for punch with pitching and the lineup. So, I think the Rangers, they'll be getting it done again because you got Josh Hamilton right there hitting in the middle. You got Andrews and Kinsler, all those guys, even though, the Angels got Pujols and, Trumbo and all those guys. But, I think the Rangers are a little bit better lineup-wise, even if they are pretty similar. So I'm going to have to go with the Rangers as well in this one. So
That's my favorite division.
all right, so we're gonna move on to the National League now. We got NL East. What would you think about that one?
Right now, to me, this is a two-team division. Obviously, with the Phillies where they're at right now, I'm not going to count them out completely, but it's looking pretty tough for them. Hopefully, if they get Utley and Howard back and Halladay off the DL, and they can get Cliff Lee a couple of wins, because I believe he's still winless right now.
He's still winless.
Yeah. But I don't see them winning this division. I have to go with my gut. My gut says Nationals, but my heart says the Braves. But I'm gonna go with my guts, and say the Nationals, just because of that great pitching staff. I think their starting pitching is completely outdoing everybody in the National League, maybe even Major League Baseball. Their lineup, doesn't produce a whole bunch, even though they did score 12 runs tonight. But I do see them being able to hold off everybody else. But I do see the Braves making the wild card somehow. They might pull it out of them. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. I really do think the Nationals are probably going to run away with this division eventually. I think the Mets, maybe the Phillies, once they get Utley and Ryan back, it just depends on how well they produce after they come back from these injuries. Because, coming back from an Achilles injury probably isn't that great. Utley's been having some knee troubles for a while now, so hopefully with all his rest, he might be able to come back, as strong as ever. But I definitely think the Nationals as well, because they got the really good pitching staff right now. Even with the Phillies, when everyone's healthy, they definitely have a better pitching staff by a lot, because you got five. I think they're pretty much five deep. You got Halladay and Lee once you get some wins and some offense. You got Cole Hamels, who is, he might get the Cy Young this year. You got Vance Worley, and then you got Joe Blanton, who's, he's decent. But, I'm going to pick the Nationals as well. So, we're going to move on to the Central now. And surprisingly, the Reds are leading this. So, who do you think for this one?
I was really expecting the Reds and the Brewers to be the two front runners right now. Obviously, the Reds are in first place, like you said. The Pirates are surprising everybody. I believe they're second place right now, maybe third. I'm not 100% sure. And obviously, with the Cardinals losing Pujols, it was a big loss for their lineup. But Alan Craig stepped it up. David Freese is looking. I mean, he's not doing exactly all what he did in the World Series, but he's still producing.
And you got Carlos Beltran.
Carlos Beltran is absolutely tearing it up. I honestly, when they signed him, I didn't think that it was going to be that big of a deal. I didn't think he was going to, be the player that he is right now. But he's obviously showing that he still has some life in him. But for my division pick, I'm going to have to go with the Reds, just because I like their pitching staff. I like the addition when they got Matt Latos. He is a little bit inconsistent with his ERA. He has a high ERA typically, but he does strike out a lot of hitters. And if he can get run support, I believe he can, be able to be an ace on that staff. Obviously, losing Edison Volquez was a loss for their rotation, but I think Latos has stepped it up. But don't leave out the Pirates. They could make a run at it. But what about you?
I'm about to go with the Reds as well. I always hate picking the same team as the guy in front of me. But, I think the Reds, because Joey Votto pretty much is, he's probably going to be the MVP maybe this year. I think he's definitely got one of the main guys. I think the Pirates, though, they're going to be there at the end, as well as the Cardinals. I don't know. The Brewers just don't seem like themselves this year for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We got Ryan Braun, but I'm going to pick the Reds just because Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto in the middle of that lineup, and they got some pretty good starters. Bronson Arroyo went 7 in the third today of no hit baseball, and you got, who else you got there? You got Matt Latos, Johnny Cueto, and there's that. There's one more guy. So they definitely got some good pitchers on there. It just depends on if they'll be able to hold off the Cardinals, who are a bit more experienced, and Beltran. He's definitely having a really good year so far. So
Yeah.
I'm about to pick the Reds though, just because of Joey Votto. He's a freaking monster. All right, so the last division we got is the NL West.
For this one, wow,
Nice
voice crack there. A lot of people, are expecting the Dodgers to win, but I'm gonna go with the San Francisco Giants. I really think that their pitching staff is, or could be, one of the best in baseball. Lincecum is gonna have to step it up. I think that if Matt Cain pitches the whole season the way he did in that perfect game, they'll be completely fine. If the rest of the guys can step up, Bumgarner, Barry Zito, there's one more guy I'm missing.
Bumgarner, Zito.
Is it
Ryan
Vogelsong? Yeah, that's him. If those three guys can, pitch the way or be consistent, I guess they don't have to be, leading the league in every pitching category. But as long as they can win games, be consistent on the mound, I believe their lineup can produce at least 2 to 3 runs a game. So as long as they're getting good starting pitching, they'll be fine. Their bullpen is also a question. Brian Wilson's obviously out for the season. We all knew that at the beginning of the season. I think Santiago Casilla has stepped up and done a great job as their closer. But for me, it's got to be the Giants because I don't see Matt Kemp being able to carry this team, even though Kershaw has done a great job at the A spot for them.
For the NL West, you got the Dodgers who have, they've been pretty surprising this season. Couldn't say surprising for a second. But, once you get Matt Kemp back, they'll definitely start picking it up again. Just depends on if he's still pretty good, if he's still a little bit sore from his hamstring. I think that's what he's out with.
Mm-hmm.
So you got them. They got a pretty good pitching staff as well with Kershaw. Then you got the Giants, who they also have a pretty good pitching staff. It's just definitely the offense for them is a question. With you got Posey in them, but it just depends on if they can get some offense for those pitchers and like you said, the bullpen. But I'm gonna pick the Diamondbacks, so it's a division. And here's why, because I really like their starting rotation. You got Ian Kennedy, and then they just called up Bauer today. I like Bauer just from my franchise mode. He's done a really good job, even if he hasn't really developed yet. But I definitely think that their pitching is just going to be really good this year. I think it's going to bring them back eventually, even if they are hovering around 500. But they're going to pick it up, I think, and I think they're going to win this division.
Wow.
Just
Didn't
like they did
expect
last
that
year. Yeah, no one picked them last year.
No. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And this includes two rookies, or not rookies, but two people who just got called up. Anthony Rizzo made his debut tonight, and also, like you said, the D-backs called up Trevor Bauer. So what do you think about these two players?
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I mean, I think it's a good move to get Rizzo some garbage time since the Cubs are like 20, 25 and whatever, 25 like 40.
Yeah.
So I think definitely bringing Rizzo, putting him into the fire, the number 3 spot in the lineup. He had a good day today too. He had 2 hits, and I think he led him to victory today. So I definitely think it's good to test Rizzo right now and see if he's MLB ready, which obviously he is. It's gonna help out their lineup as well. I mean, only other really good person they had was Starlin Castro, and then you got Alfonso Soriano, who's actually finally having a good year after being a huge bust this contract. So, I think it's a good move for them. It's not really gonna hurt them, and get Rizzo some experience in the major leagues. I think Trevor Bauer is. I think it's a good move as well because the Diamondbacks need a little bit more pitching this year, and might as well bring him up this year. I remember they were gonna bring him and the other guy, Tyler Skaggs. They were gonna bring him up. They were both of them up last year, I'm pretty sure, when they lost a couple guys before the playoffs and needed some pitchers, and they didn't. So I think calling up Trevor Bauer it's not gonna hurt him. So I think it's a good move. What do you think about that?
For me, the whole Anthony Rizzo move is kind of confusing for me because I thought Brian LaHare did a great job at first base for them. Maybe they saw something in him. I don't know if he's hurt or not. But maybe they saw something in him that wasn't gonna last. Maybe he fell off a little bit, but I thought he started out the season great. But yeah, it is good to get Rizzo some play time. I think he really deserves it. It was kind of disappointing to see him when he got called up with the Padres last year and didn't really produce the way they expected him to. He kind of came on, a little hot, and then as the season went on, as his at-bats came up, he started to diminish a little bit, kind of fall off. So I really like them bringing him up, maybe to get him some potential playing time. I don't know if he's going to be, like a everyday player for them in the future, or if they're going to look to move him to maybe get some more players. I don't think they would do that because he's so young, and I think he'll be a good franchise first baseman for them. But with Trevor Bauer, I think it's a good move. I've watched this guy. I watched him in college on college baseball sometimes when he'd come on. And I've seen some reports of him from minor leagues, and I think that it was a great move. I think they did a good job with not rushing him too fast. I think the way that they brought him up was the right time. They're facing the Braves. The Braves aren't exactly, the best team right now, so that'll give him an easy, I guess, not an easy team, but a struggling offense to play against. So I think he'll do a good job, and I expect him to be in their rotation for years to come.
How old is Brian LaHair?
I believe he's 31, 32.
Yeah, I definitely think that, calling Rizzo up is a pretty good move now because I kind of thought LaHair was like a younger player, but yeah, definitely bringing him in. It's not really going to hurt because, LaHair's a little bit older than, actually pretty older than him, so, maybe the Cubs try to move him around to someone. I don't know who really needs a big help at first base. It's usually a lot of teams is like a deep spot.
Yeah.
All right, so Bronson Arroyo, Bronson Arroyo didn't get a no-hitter. Who's your Cy Young winners right now?
For the National League, it was kind of tough for me. I was thinking about this earlier while we were talking before, and it's really between two players for me. R.A. Dickey, he's masterful. He throws that knuckleball. Some days, most of the time he's been pitching this year, it's been dancing around doing all the things that he wants to. But the last start he had against the Yankees, on ESPN, I watched that game, and it just seemed like it was flat. It seemed like he was leaving it over the plate a little bit, and it was, getting hit pretty hard. And then the second pitcher is Steven Strasburg. Now, I know that the Nationals have talked about shutting him down after a certain amount of innings pitched. I think that's a stupid idea for them, and if they're going to do it, I wish they would do it after the All-Star game or after, a couple weeks after the All-Star game, because I really think if they want to make a deep run in the postseason, they need him in that rotation to kind of be the leader, the ace of the staff, and I don't think that they, can rely on Gonzalez, Zimmerman, and the rest of their staff to get them to the World Series, because I imagine with them being in first place right now that they want to win and go as deep in the playoffs as they want. So I think Strasburg has got to be there. So if I had to choose one, I'm gonna go with R.A. Dickey, just because a lot of people are saying, why are we gonna start him? He throws a knuckleball. Catchers are gonna look stupid trying to catch him. I mean, isn't the Cy Young Award winner supposed to be? Wait, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the All-Star game. Wow. Okay, sorry, that's my fault. But I'm gonna pick R.A. Dickey for the Cy Young Award winner right now because he has, I think he has the best record in the National League, and he is mastering the National League. But with the American League, I don't really know. It's kind of tough for me because I don't really pay attention to the American League guy. I'm not an American League, team watcher. I don't pay attention to it most often. But I guess if I had to choose one guy, it would be, I don't even know. Why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go ahead? Because I don't even know. I don't pay attention to the AL that much.
I think for the AL, I think it's probably going to be either Justin Verlander or David Price. Probably one of those two. Maybe CC Sabathia at the end of the season. But I think right now, I don't know. Probably Verlander again. He's probably going to get the AL All-Star start this year again. So, but I don't know. It's either him or David Price. I think Price will be there at the end of the season. So, my NL pick, I would have to pick, maybe Matt Cameron now. It's kind of hard to say that. I mean, just because he got a perfect game, it's all good and stuff. But
yeah,
R.A. Dickey is also, he's like got one of the best ERAs. Johnny Cueto, I think he's like, it's either him or Wade Miley that's leading the NL in ERA right now. One of those two. But him and R.A. Dickey. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. It's either Matt Cain or R.A. Dickey. It's one of those two right now. So that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. So the next one we have is the All-Star game. So I guess we can just talk about who we think's gonna go, and I guess who can start pitching wise. I guess we can go ahead and throw that in if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I think for the AL it'll just be Justin Verlander. Probably the NL. I hope it's R.A. Dickey. If it's not R.A. Dickey, it's gonna be a disappointment because you're not gonna be able to see that knuckleball right away.
Yeah.
I mean, that can be like a little attraction, help the TV ratings.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. There really isn't really much to talk about with like the lineups because I think everything's pretty much set. We all know who's gonna be starting based on the fans' votes.
So I guess for me, if I had to choose an American League starting pitcher, I guess I would go with Justin Verlander, just because we all know what he can do. He won AL MVP and the Cy Young last year. He's so dominant. He's got great stuff. And like you said, for the National League, if it's not R.A. Dickey, I'm probably going to be more disappointed about that than, seeing my favorite players in the game, because I've not been able to watch him pitch, because whenever, the teams that live in my area play the Mets, he's normally not pitching. But it was nice being able to see him pitch. But I hope he does get that start for the National League. And if he doesn't, I guess it would either be Matt Cain or Strasburg or somebody like that. I was hoping it'd be Brandon Beachy, but he got Tommy John surgery, so
yeah. Did he get Tommy John?
Yeah, he went to see some doctor, and they determined that he needed Tommy John surgery. So
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I read it was like a partial tear. I didn't hear anything after that though.
All right, so the next thing we have is the Futures game is next weekend. I believe it's July 8th, I think. And I guess you can throw in any top prospects that that are going to be there.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch the Indians' top prospect, Francisco Lindor. That's going to be fun as well. It's kind of cool for me because, a lot of these guys on my videos, and I'm sure on yours as well, they always mention, oh, yeah, trade for this guy. He's this team's top prospect. I'm like, whoa, I never even heard of this dude.
Yeah.
But, I started, kind of paying attention to them a lot more this year, thanks to all of my guys who comment. And I know Tyler Skaggs, I think he's going to be there. I think Trevor Bauer was probably going to be there, but I don't think he's going to be there anymore. I don't know. I'm not really good with scouting as much. I just kind of know some of the good players. So, I'm sure Anthony Rizzo is going to be there as well.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going to be watching some of the guys that I've seen on my franchise videos being there. That'll be kind of cool.
For me, I guess the only guys that I know that are going to be there are, like you said, Francisco Lindor, the Braves' top catching prospect, Christian Bethancourt, I don't know how you say it, is going to be there. I just think that I like the idea that they do this. I like that they give the up-and-coming players a chance to showcase their talents to the MLB fans, all the people that watch MLB and, hear about these guys, but, they don't exactly put minor league baseball on TV, and you don't exactly have a chance to watch these guys play every day like you do the professional team. So I really think it's a great idea for Major League Baseball, and I'll be watching it and looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, and there's just one other guy that I want to watch in there. It's that prospect from the Reds who's, I think he has 90 stolen bases in 60 games right now.
Oh, is it Billy Hamilton?
Yeah, Billy Hamilton. Yeah, the fastest guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch as well. That'll be really interesting. So, yeah, definitely watch him as well. I don't know if he'll be there in the future. He's a shortstop, right? Yeah, I think he's a shortstop.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, I don't know. They got Zach Kozar there right now, so I don't really know where they can really fit him in the future. So, I don't know. It'll be kind of interesting, though. What else we got? All right, yeah. Who should be the starting pitchers in the NLAL? We already got that, right? Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
You said does Tommy John surgery make you throw her out? I'll let you talk about this one.
Basically, I've seen a couple articles on not necessarily MLB.com, but other places, and some people I've heard say, on MLB Network or ESPN, and even professional pitchers who come back, feel like after Tommy John surgery, they feel like their elbow feels a lot better, and I can see why. Obviously, when you have that motion to cause that, I remember when Strasburg had Tommy John surgery, when a pitcher comes set, you break your hands, right? He would push his elbow up instead of having his hand straight up, and I think that's what lets players throw a little bit harder, let pitchers throw a little bit harder. I think it adds a little bit more velocity because it gives them more torque on their elbow, and that obviously causes them to tear the muscles or whatever's in the elbow. But I don't really know if it makes you throw harder. I guess it would be. I guess it would make you feel better because having that tear in your arm obviously can't feel good because it makes you not be able to pitch for all entire season. But maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I think it's a good idea for them to do it. I love the surgery though.
So you're saying as soon as you get in the major leagues, you should just go get this surgery?
Well, not saying you should go get it. I mean, if you have elbow problems, and obviously if you tear it, you're gonna have to get it. But I just think it, maybe helps them out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, Jamie Moyer, go get Tommy John surgery. No, but I was like, this is kind of weird though, cause like a couple weeks ago, I was looking at some no, I was looking at Steven Strasburg's scouting report for some reason,
Hmm.
and like I was reading through it, I was like, he throws like a fastball, he throws a really good changeup in the slurve or whatever, and then like they were talking about his motion, they're like, all right, this is what he does, he starts out like this, whatever, and then they said like, and this was written back in 2009 before he had the surgery, and the person who wrote it said like, the way he pitches, like he brings his arm back and like he brings him back into his back, and he said that like it puts more stress on his elbow, and like we could be seeing like Tommy John surgery down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was back in 2009, and I think it was 2010 that he tore it. He got the surgery, so I don't know. That was kind of cool. I was like, no way. So.
And I think they had a guy on MLB Network. Sometimes when they do the little diamond demos, I think is what it's called, where they bring in guys and kind of talk about things. I think they had a guy on there right around the time when he actually had to have the surgery, and he talked about the way that he threw and having his arm putting more stress on it. So I think that's really interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, I think Cliff Lee is actually similar to the way he does that too. So maybe Cliff Lee's the next one.
Maybe we'll see him in Tommy John surgery throwing. After he gets back, he'll be throwing 96.
Maybe, or if you play for the Blue Jays, well they had like 3 pitchers go down in 1 week, or no, it was 3 pitchers in 4 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That sucks to them. I don't know. Poor Blue Jays. All right, so playoff prediction. So what are you thinking? We already got a division winners. Who's gonna be in there and who's gonna be getting to the? We'll do the championship games and then we'll do the World Series.
Okay, so for the American League, this is a tough one. I can see multiple teams being in here. Obviously, my first team is the Texas Rangers. I think they have the best lineup in the American League, maybe the major leagues. They probably do. Their pitching staff is good. I think Yu Darvish has proved himself to be able to pitch in the American League Baseball, Professional League Baseball. Obviously, if they can get Feliz back, Holland back, Agondo if they want to put him in the rotation. They signed Oswalt, I believe, a while ago, and they just brought him up. I think he's done okay. I didn't get to watch his first start because I think it was on TV,
I didn't hear anything about it.
I know they brought him up, but I'm not sure, if he did.
Yeah, it was like last Friday.
Did anything. But I think if their pitching staff can perform well like they always will or always have, Feliz obviously doing good from becoming a closer into a starter. I think that Joe Nathan has done a good job closing games. I think their bullpen has done a good job, so I have them. And then my second team is going to be the Tigers. I think they have obviously a great lineup, adding Miguel Cabrera or Prince Fielder in with Miguel Cabrera. Their pitching staff is great. Verlander, Scherzer, Porcello, Smiley, Doug Fister I think is on there too. Mm-hmm. But the question for me is their bullpen. Can their bullpen come in, or can a guy from the bullpen come in the 7th and 8th inning against the Rangers? In a one-run, they have like a one-run lead. Can they come in, shut down the Rangers lineup, and get it to Valverde? But that's my AL championship. And then, do you want to do the AL or should I go to NL?
Yeah, go. You can do the NL real quick. I'll give my opinions after that.
My National League is, again, it's tough because obviously we picked the Nationals to win the division in the NL East. I could see them in the championship series or in the NLCS. I think it all depends on how the young players on their team can adjust to being in pressure spots, because I don't think anybody on their team has been in a playoff atmosphere in a playoff series. So I think that they will make it to the NLCS. It's going to be a tough road for them, but I think that they can make it. And then against them, it's tough. I can see the Reds making it with their lineup and obviously the pitching staff that they have. Obviously, it's going to depend on how good their starters can be consistently. The Giants, the Dodgers, if they make it as a wild card team. There are a lot of teams, but I think to me that it's going to be the Reds who end up facing the Nationals in the NLCS.
All right, and then what do you got for your World Series?
I see the Rangers winning the ALCS. Like I already mentioned, I'm not gonna say all the stuff I already said. And then I'm gonna go with the Nats. I'm on the bandwagon, I guess. Even though I am a Braves fan, I'm jumping on the Bryce Harper bandwagon, the Nats bandwagon, Washington all the way. But I see Texas beating the Nats and finally getting their World Series. The third time's a charm for them.
All right, yeah, I like those ideas though. For the AL, so we got for my championship. I think I could, I definitely think it's gonna be the Rangers getting in there. Maybe the Angels as a wild card, they could maybe sneak in there as well, facing the Rangers. But I think definitely the Rangers are gonna be a lock to get to the ALCS at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the Rays will be there as well. I think they're gonna get to the ALCS, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do there. But I'll skip them real quick. I'm gonna go over to NL, and I have the Nationals in there as well. I have them in the NLCS. I have them facing either the Dodgers or the Giants. It depends on if the Diamondbacks do win the division, one or either of those could get to the wild card hopefully, or maybe, and then it just depends on which one of those wins out. I think the Dodgers, if they could probably get to the Nationals, and then that'd be a pretty good series. Now we're gonna go back to the ALCS. And I see that the Rays would beat the Rangers, and I think it's because their pitching staff is just way better than them. I don't know if they'll be able to shut down Hamilton and Beltre and Cruz and all of them, but I definitely think that their bullpen's pretty good as well. The lineup, even though it seems like a patchwork lineup, it's really not. I just forgot their manager's name, Joe Madden. He always does the craziest things. He knows his scouting. He always puts on these crazy shifts, and it works. And I don't know, their lineup seems to produce somehow. I mean, even though if you only got Pena and Longoria in there, but I think their lineup will get enough runs. I think that their pitching staff, you got Shields and Price over in the front, and then you got Hellickson, who was the rookie of the year last year for the AL. He's going to be third, and then you got Matt Moore, who's had a really good year, but they might not even need him. But I think the pitching staff will probably overcome the Rangers. They'll get them in like probably 6 or 7 games. So I had the Rays in the World Series. Over in the NL, when we have the Nationals versus I guess the Dodgers, doesn't matter though. I definitely think the Nationals will be getting past them just because of their pitching staff. You got Strasburg and Gonzalez. It'll be interesting to see if they bring Strasburg back up, because they probably will be shutting them down after his 160 inning limit, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know when he'll hit that, but I think they'll bring him back during the NLC during the playoffs at least. Whether he's coming out of the bullpen or starting, doesn't matter because he's still Strasburg. But even no matter what, they got Gonzalez. Who else they got in their rotation? They got Gonzalez,
Zimmerman,
Jordan Zimmerman. But
man.
Yeah, their pitching staff is definitely produced, and against the Dodgers too. Their pitching staff, they have Chris Capuano, and you got Kershaw as well. So those are 2 pretty good guys. But their lineup just isn't. Even though you got Kemp and you got D. Gordon, and Andre Ethier, I don't know if they'll be able to produce enough to get past the Nationals. So I'm gonna pick the Nationals versus the Rays, which is what I picked in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I don't know. I really don't know if I could pick this. That's really pretty tough. But I think the Rays, I think they'll get it done. I like the Rays. I don't know. I want them to succeed for some reason. I love all their young pitchers. So, yeah, I'd say the Rays in like 7.
It's not bad.
So, yeah. You think the Phillies are the worst team in the NL East?
As of right now, not, in my opinion, I think that right now, even though you could consider the Mets being the worst team in the NL East, I just think that they are outplaying the Phillies. I think that
what about
the Phillies,
Marlins?
Well, I mean, the Marlins aren't exactly playing well, but they're playing better than the Phillies, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. Like, this isn't, like set in stone or anything. But I think if the Phillies can get Utley back, I think he's coming back sometime this week. Ryan Howard, Roy Halladay off the DL. If they can start getting Cliff Lee some wins, I think they'll be fine. But I don't know. I just think that they need to get something, maybe do something different at practice or something. Charlie Manuel needs to shake it up a little bit, get a rookie to spark some energy or something. I don't know. They need something because they look like they're fading quickly, and I don't think Phillies fans are liking it.
Oh, hell no. Those Philadelphia fans are insane. I don't know. I really don't know what's wrong with them. I mean, even if they don't have Howard and Utley, I mean, you still got Hunter Pence and Rollins and Victorino in there, and Carlos Ruiz. I really don't know what else they can really do besides, once they get them back, how well they're going to do. Obviously, Howard and Utley being back is going to help them. Then, poor Jim Tomey's going to be on the bench again.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know what's really wrong with them other than, not having offense. They got good pitching. Maybe they need to call up, I don't know, Dominic Brown. They should bring him back, put him in the outfield.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe Pence and Rollins aren't doing enough for them. But, I mean, you can only have so much of them. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, their pitching's fine. It's obviously just the offense that's not doing too well. So that's
and isn't Ruiz having a spectacular season right now?
He'd be their MVP right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'd be the worst team. I think they're a bit ahead of the Marlins, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely don't think the Mets are. They might be playoff contenders by the end of the year. Just depends on if Santana and R.A. Dickey are still doing good enough, and if I don't know what else they really need. Their offense is pretty good, I think. You got David Wright, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another pitcher somehow would be pretty nice to them. Maybe bring.
I can
Zach
see the
Wheeler.
Mets. I can see the Mets either, like you said, bringing Zach Wheeler up, or maybe trading for an outfielder because Jason Bay hasn't done anything since they signed him. He was great in Pittsburgh. He kind of fell off late, and then when he got to the Red Sox, he did really well. But as soon as he hit New York, he just completely fell off. It's almost like he disappeared off the face of the earth. I didn't hear anything about him anymore. But I can see them at the deadline, maybe looking for another starting pitcher or an outfielder.
An outfielder. I don't really know who they can really find out. I don't know what teams I haven't really heard much about. What outfielders might be getting shopped around pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head right now. Maybe Grady Sizemore from the Indians. Once he comes back. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's dead, but oh my God, it's horrible being from Cleveland. That's all I hear about. Oh, Grady Sizemore hits the 60-day DL with a sprained tongue. And that dude's so fragile. I feel bad for him though. He's such a good player, and he's just gone. So I don't know. Maybe getting him, and hopefully for them that he does. I don't know well, but. I don't really know who else they can really find right now. I'm sure ESPN's got it all down.
Wasn't B.J. Upton being shopped around last year?
He was, yeah.
I don't see him. I don't see why they would want to trade him.
Him and Shields were being on the trading block.
Yeah.
Because I think one of them is in the final year of their deal, so they're trying to because they know that they're not going to re-sign with them. So they're just trying to get as much as they can for them. And if they lost Shields, it'd be kind of bad. But I'm sure first of all you'd probably get a shit ton of prospects from James Shields.
Definitely.
That dude's really good. But yeah, their starting rotation. If they lose Shields, all you do is move Price up, and then you got Matt Moore, Hellickson, Jeff Neiman, and Alex Cobb, and that's pretty good.
Mhm.
So yeah, Rays they're pretty flexible. They have so many prospects in their farm system right now. They got 3 guys in the futures game too. So yeah, but B.J. Upton, I used to think B.J. Upton was really good.
Yeah, me too. I was questioning why they were shopping him last year. I thought he was the future franchise player for him, along with Longoria and David Price and James Shields and all those other guys that they're bringing up. But when they were shopping him around, I didn't understand it. I thought it was maybe an attitude problem. Maybe Joe Madden thought he couldn't coach him. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see him in a Mets uniform. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I remember back in 2007 when they were in ALCS versus the Red Sox. I remember he was having a pretty good series. I remember he had a few home runs versus the Red Sox, and I was like, wow, this dude's pretty good. And then ESPN just rips on him, and everyone gives him pretty bad ratings. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I thought B.J. Upton was a little bit better than that.
Yeah, me too.
What else do we have? Best pitching staff in MLB. That's a good one.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Best pitching staff in the major leagues. Are we going right now or overall?
Right now. Yeah, well,
right now.
You can base it off of the starting rotation, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with the Rays. I think, like you said, they have David Price and James Shields, who have been up in the major leagues, who have proven themselves, and then they have Jeremy Hellickson, won the AL Rookie of the Year last year. Matt Moore, who I think, did great last year in the playoffs. I don't think he's done, all that great this year, but I think he's still done pretty good. Alex Cobb is another great pitcher that they have, and like you said, they have so many pitching prospects and prospects in general. They have so many top prospects. Like I think you said, they have 3 in the futures game. That's insane.
Something like that.
I bet that's the most out of any team with players in the futures game. The Nats can be considered in this, but I just think they have Strasburg and Gonzalez. Zimmerman is good, but I don't even know who the 4th and 5th starters for him on their team. So I guess as a full starting rotation, I'd have to go with the Rays on this one.
I think best starting rotations. There's a lot of them. I definitely think the Rays are probably number one. If you were asked this last year though, it would have been the Phillies because they would have had Oswald, Worley, Hamels, Halladay, and Lee. But I still think the Phillies are still like number 2 or 3. I think the Angels also could be number 2 or 3. They're pretty much 4 deep. They got their 5th guy. I think he's been doing pretty well. I don't know his name though. I think he's a rookie though. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely think the Rays are number 1 though. I don't know other teams you can put in there. Probably the Rangers, and theirs is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Yeah, definitely the Rays number 1. Probably put the Angels number 2, Nationals number 3, maybe Phillies number 4 or 5, and the Rangers at 4 or 5 as well. So, and let's see, who do we have for our best overall player in the MLB?
Right now?
Yeah, who's like non-pitcher.
Okay. I'm gonna say Carlos Beltran on this one. I've had a lot of Cardinals fans talking to me in live streams about him, giving me all his stats, and I've started to pay close attention to him, and I think that he, in my mind, is the best player because everybody counted him out. Everybody kind of forgot about him when he was with the Mets. He didn't exactly. He had good years, but as of recently, I think he didn't exactly live up to what everybody thought of him when he was in Kansas City. He was great. He did everything great for them. He hit home runs. He drove in runs. He played great center field. He even, stole some bases because he had some speed. But I think him showing this year that he can bounce back from all the, people doubting him and saying that he can't play at a high level anymore, and showing them that he can be, even considered to start in the All-Star game this year is a good sign for him. So I'm going to go with Carlos Beltran as the best player in the major leagues.
For me, I'd have to say Josh Hamilton. I don't know. He's phenomenal this year. Something's gotten into him. Maybe I don't know what, but yeah, I think definitely him. Maybe Matt Kemp. He could be there as well. Maybe Andrew McCutchen. I think him as well. Justin Upton as well. He's pretty far up there. So maybe even Albert Pujols when he's having a really good year. Obviously, I don't think this year he's the best player, but yeah, definitely probably Josh Hamilton right now. He's probably like the overall league MVP. He's freaking tearing it up this year.
Mm-hmm.
And who would you say is the best pitcher in the MLB right now?
Jeez. For me, best pitcher in the MLB. For me, it's between Strasburg and what's his name? R.A. Dickey. And I talked about him earlier. R.A. Dickey obviously has a knuckleball. He's masterful. You could throw in Justin Verlander into this. We all know that he won the AL MVP, the Cy Young last year. He's great as a starting pitcher. I would take him if we, I always think if you would strip the MLB teams right now and do like a fantasy draft like you can in the game, who would I take as like my first pick? And if he was on the board, I would grab Justin Verlander right off the top because of the stuff that he brings to the rotation and the leadership that he brings. But in my mind, I think right now, the way Strasburg is pitching is pretty good to see because obviously coming off the injury, I think he's leading the league in strikeouts right now, National League. I'm not sure about the whole entire major leagues, but it's going to be sad to see him shut down. But I'm gonna have to go with Strasburg.
I'm just going to go with Verlander. I mean, the dude's phenomenal. He makes hitters look retarded. So yeah, I think him. I don't want to pick people just because like of the year they're having. I want to base them off of like the last 2 or 3 years. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe Strasburg definitely could be right there. I think Kershaw, him as well. He could be up there. Maybe Matt Cain, definitely. But
Yeah.
I think right now overall, I think Verlander. Yeah, like you said, if you could strip everything down and pick the best, the number one guy in a fantasy draft, I think it'd be Verlander for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty tough. There's a lot of good pitchers right now, so maybe him or Jared Weaver as well. CC Sabathia, a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think when Matt Kemp comes back, he's gonna be producing the same?
I think if he can come back and be the same Matt Kemp that he was before he got hurt, I think he'll be fine. Obviously, he's gonna produce. The only thing that I can see him having trouble with is his running ability, his outfield ability, because obviously hamstrings are in your legs. I think it wouldn't be like a tough thing to come back from, but I can see him kind of, being cautious with it, maybe not stealing that extra base, maybe not going first to third that time when he could risk it. If he was, feeling fine, he probably would take it. But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll lead the Dodgers to a playoff appearance. I think that they'll maybe not win the division, but definitely make it in as a wild card team because of the pitching staff. Kershaw's doing a great job. Capuano, like you mentioned. But for me, I think that he'll come back and be fine. Whether or not he'll win the MVP or not, come back as the old Matt Kemp, I don't know. It's all going to depend on his mindset, I guess, and how he comes back mentally.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he comes back. I mean, I didn't like to see him go down with an injury because, he was leading the NL in home runs, and then see him go down. I was like, oh no. But I don't know. I want to see him win an MVP this year. I don't know if he will now because of him being set back. His stats will be a little bit down compared to everyone else. So I think when he comes back, they're not going to try to rush him because they are still in first place. There's nothing to really worry about. So I don't know if he plays an All-Star game. Definitely, if he comes back, he'll probably be starting. But like you said, with the speed issue with the hamstring, whether he'll be able to make it to those borderline base hit balls in the outfield, if he'll be able to track them down as well, steal bases. That's the only major question. I think the power and all that will be there. He'll still be a monster. Just just depends on if his speed's still there. But I think he'll still be one of the best players. He'll be competing out there with Ryan Braun and McCutchen and Carlos Gonzalez. So yeah, I hope he comes back 100% and goes the same way he was before.
It was like you said, it was a bummer to see him go down because I think he's one of the most entertaining players to watch just because he's that 5-tool player like Andrew McCutchen is. He's got the power, he's got the bat, he can hit in the gap, driving the runs, but he's also got that speed aspect to where he takes that extra base. He goes first to third on a base hit, to right center when normal people would stop at first base or maybe just stop at second. He goes for that extra base. And he's an excellent fielder, but I was really looking forward to see him in the All-Star game, but unfortunately that isn't going to happen because I think that they said he's not going to be back until a little bit after it, but I hope he comes back.
I hope he comes back as well. All right, so our final topic for today is AL MVP and NL MVPs, and this is probably pretty easy, but who do you have right now?
My AL MVP is Josh Hamilton, and like you said, he's just tearing the cover off the ball. I think he hit his 24th home run tonight. I don't know if that leads the league or anything. I bet it does. He is just a great player. I love hearing his story all the time. I read his book. I read it and I still kind of go over it. I think that he is a great story to come from being addicted to drugs and alcohol problems to one of the best major league players right now, probably considered to be the best. But I have him as my MVP. I hope he gets to the World Series. I hope he finally gets his World Series ring that he's deserved. Had 2 shots at it, but fallen short both times. But hopefully he'll get it this year. And then for my National League MVP, I would say Matt Kemp, but I just don't know if he can come back and have the numbers to compete with everybody else. I think he can. I really think that he can come back and compete. I think that he deserved the NL MVP last year. I don't know really why Ryan Braun won it last year. I thought, Matt Kemp definitely deserved it. In my opinion, if he can come back and play the way that he did before he got hurt, he's got my vote for NL MVP if I even had a vote. I think, like I said, if he can come back and play the way he normally does, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, for AL MVP as well, I have Josh Hamilton. I think a lot of people have Josh Hamilton. I don't really see anyone else really competing for him with the MVP. I'm sure someone could, but it's going to be pretty hard. I don't know. Maybe I think one player in mind would be Miguel Cabrera. If he hits some more homers, I think he only has like 6 or 7 home runs. But Josh Hamilton has over 60 RBIs already. He is like 65-ish, something like that. And Miguel Cabrera has a lot as well. So I think Josh Hamilton right now. Maybe Miguel Cabrera later. In the NL, I think it's got to be Joey Votto right now. He's having a really good year as well. David Wright is a player who's also having a really good year as well. A lot of people didn't expect him to have a good year, but David Wright, he's had a really good year. So, between him and Joey Votto, it's gonna be, I think, one of those two. I think McCutchen is probably like the third best player in the NL right now. So it'll be kind of cool to see if the Pirates are in contention in like the last month or two. He'll probably start picking it up. He'll be the team leader like he is already, and he'll probably really heat up. So maybe out of those three, maybe you can even add Carlos Beltran. But I think right now it's got to be Joey Votto.
David Wright kind of reminds me of that player that kind of hides in the shadows. He's not, I don't think he's really labeled a superstar. I mean, I guess he could be, but having such a abysmal season last year, I don't think many people are paying him the attention that he deserves. But yeah, I think if he does play the way he is right now, I think he'll be up there in contention.
Yep. All right, so yeah, that's it for our topics for now.
Yeah, that's it. Any last topics that you have in mind that you'd like to throw in?
Nothing really.
All right. So I guess that's it. It's been long enough.
Yeah, it was like an hour. Yeah, we're about to hit an hour.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so yeah, thanks for watching the video. Pretty long commentary or podcast type thing. So hopefully you stuck around for the whole thing. I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, so thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Scoped and Shot if you're a subscriber of mine. And obviously if you're a subscriber of him, I'd love for you to come over and watch some of my stuff.
I know all my guys like franchise videos, and he does the same thing. So he actually plays games. All of my subscribers hate me for not playing games. I show a lot of the trades. I don't know. I don't have enough time for games. But if you guys want to watch franchise games, then go to his channel definitely. If you're looking for something different.
So I guess that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope you guys enjoyed.
Yep,
Thanks.
See you guys later.